Our 15th anniversary was approaching, and I should have been excited, but honestly, all I felt was exhaustion. Daniel and I weren't arguing every day, but something about us had gone quiet. Not peaceful quiet. The uncomfortable, heavy quiet you get when two people share a house, but not a life. Still, I tried. I curled my hair, put on the navy dress he always liked, and wore the necklace he bought me years ago, back when he still wrote love notes and remembered things like my favorite tea. I came downstairs and found him pacing near the door, checking his watch, adjusting his cufflinks. He looked nervous. "Do I look okay?" I asked, smoothing my dress. He looked up, startled, as if he hadn't expected to see me in my own house. "Oh, yes, you look beautiful. Just perfect." His smile was tight, forced. My brows knit. "You sure everything's all right?" He swallowed. "Yeah, just a lot on my mind. Big night." Big night. That should have been my first red flag. We drove in silence for most of the way. He kept glancing at his phone. At one point it buzzed and he flipped it over so I couldn't see the screen. I bit my tongue. Old me would have asked who it was. New me was tired of asking questions with answers that only hurt. The restaurant was stunning. Rooftop view of the city, golden lights reflecting off the glass walls. Very romantic, so I thought. The hostess greeted us with a warm smile and said, "Welcome, your party has already begun arriving." I froze. "Party?" Daniel cleared his throat. I invited some people. Just a small celebration." Small celebration? For our anniversary? People I didn't know were coming? But I smiled. Because that's what you do when you've trained yourself to not make scenes. We walked toward the long table, a table for 8, decorated with candles, flowers, and little name cards. I saw familiar faces, his coworkers, his friend from college, his business partner. None of them were my friends, naturally. Daniel squeezed my hand. He whispered, "Trust me." I nodded. But trust felt like an old sweater, stretched out, frayed, and thin in places. As we sat down, I noticed Daniel scanning the entrance every few minutes. His leg bounced under the table. Then, right before the appetizers arrived, he leaned in and whispered, "Just be kind tonight, okay?" My stomach dropped. "Daniel, what is going on?" He opened his mouth, then shut it. Instead, he took a deep breath and stood up. Glass tapped, fork stopped, the violinist paused. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced with a proud smile, "thank you for joining us to celebrate 15 years of marriage." Applause, smiles. He glanced at me with guilt flickering in his eyes. My heart started racing. Tonight, I wanted to do something meaningful, something brave. Brave? I held my breath. He turned toward the back of the room, and that's why I invited someone very special, someone from my past, someone who meant a lot to me. A whisper rippled through the room. My hands shook under the table. Then he said her name. Leela. Everything inside me shattered. Chapter 2. The name echoed in my head like a dropped glass shattering on tile. Lila. I knew the name. Of course I did. Everyone at Daniel's office joked about her, the brilliant consultant with the perfect resume and even more perfect smile. Once, I'd caught him saying her name in his sleep. But hearing him speak it now, here, on our anniversary, it tore something open inside me. I stared at the entrance as a figure appeared, framed by soft golden light. She stepped forward with confidence,
the kind of confidence that wasn't practiced, but lived in. Her burgundy dress hugged her like it had been sewn just for her, and her hair flowed effortlessly in waves. She looked elegant, polished, cinematic. The entire room seemed to inhale collectively. I didn't. I just watched. She spotted Daniel and her face lit up, not the cheap kind of smile, the soft, warm kind that comes from deep familiarity. She walked toward him, heels clicking, and he took a half step toward her. My chest tightened. "Daniel," she said softly, her voice like velvet. He smiled back. "Lila, I'm so glad you could make it." That tone? Not friendly, not professional. Something else. A silent storm brewed under my skin. Then her eyes fell on me. "Oh, you must be his wife," she said, a split second too late. Her hand reached out, long fingers, manicured nails. I didn't take it. "Yes," I said. My voice came out steady, colder than I intended. "I am." Around us, the table shifted uncomfortably. She withdrew her hand slowly, like she touched flame. "Happy anniversary," she added, her tone just a little too bright. "Thank you," I replied, matching her brightness with something sharper. Daniel cleared his throat. "I thought it would be good for everyone to meet. Lila's been instrumental in helping with—" Before he could finish, I whispered, "Daniel, what is this?" He hesitated, and the hesitation said more than words ever could. Dinner resumed, or tried to. Conversations flickered like weak candles in the wind. Daniel sat between us, raking his hair through his hair, eyes darting from me to her. I watched everything. The way he leaned ever so slightly when she spoke, the way her laughter rang a little too loudly for the table, the way he looked away from me when I reached for my glass. My mind cataloged each detail with the cold precision of someone who has been silently preparing for this moment. Finally, I turned to Lila. "So, tell me," I said, with a polite smile, "how long have you two known each other?" "Oh, it feels like forever." Forever. The word hit me like a punch. She continued, "We met about 5 years ago, right, Daniel?" He nodded awkwardly. "Yes, at that conference in Berlin." Berlin. The conference he said was boring. The one he said he didn't remember much about. Interesting. Lila tilted her head. "He never told you?" Daniel's jaw clenched. "Lila," but she just smiled sweetly, too sweetly. "Oh, relax," she said. "It's not like it's a big secret." Not a big secret. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. The violinist began playing again, soft and melancholy, like the soundtrack of a heartbreak unfolding in real time. I looked at Daniel. Really looked. And in that instant, I saw it. The crack in his facade, the panic in his eyes, the guilt simmering just beneath his skin. A strange calm washed over me. I picked up my wine glass, took a slow sip, and said quietly, "Actually, this might be the perfect night to talk about secrets." Daniel's face drained of color. Lila's smile faltered, and I finally felt something other than helplessness. The room didn't know it yet, but the storm was no longer forming. It had arrived. The room, once filled with soft chatter and clinking glasses, had settled into a tense, watchful silence. Even the violinist's melody seemed to taper into the background, reduced to a whisper, as though it knew better than to compete with the drama unfolding at our table. Daniel shifted in his seat, his fingers drumming a frantic rhythm against the stem of his glass. A tell. I'd seen it 1,000 times before. Usually, when he was hiding something he thought I wouldn't notice. Lila sat poised and elegant, but her eyes flickered, betraying her earlier confidence. I leaned back, studying them both. "Secrets?" Daniel repeated,
his voice tight. "This isn't the place." "I agree," I said softly. "It isn't the place to keep them." A few heads turned from nearby tables, curiosity pricking the air like static. Daniel's breath hitched. Lila cleared her throat, offering a quick laugh. "Oh, come on, don't be so dramatic. We're all friends here. This isn't friendship," I cut in, my voice low but steady. "This is performance." Her jaw tightened, just slightly, but enough for me to catch it. Daniel swallowed hard. "Please, let's talk later, privately." How convenient. Privately is where lies thrive. His eyes flared with something between anger and fear. "You're making a scene." I smiled. Not wide, not theatrical, just a thin, razor-edged smile. "If I wanted to make a scene, you'd know." Around us, people shifted, whispering behind napkins, pretending to focus on their plates while their ears leaned toward us. Lila's voice softened, adopting a tone I recognized from every office party story Daniel had ever told, the tone she used to calm people, to disarm them. "Look," she said gently, "Daniel and I have worked together for years. We've become close. But that doesn't mean anything inappropriate happened. We're adults." I turned to her fully this time. Not as a wife, not as a victim, but as a woman staring down another woman who knew exactly what she was doing. "Close?" I asked. "Is that what you call it?" She blinked, faltering. "Well, yes, friendship, mutual respect." "Respect," I echoed. "Is that what you call showing up uninvited to someone's anniversary dinner?" Daniel slammed his hand lightly on the table. She was invited. The confession dropped like a stone into a quiet lake. I stilled. Slowly, deliberately, I turned to face him. "You invited her," I said. His lips parted, but no words formed. "You invited her," I repeated, louder this time, and a small gasp drifted from somewhere behind me. He nodded once, a tiny, defeated movement, and everything inside me shifted. For a moment, my mind drifted back to the days when he would plan surprises for me, small ones, thoughtful ones. And now this? A different kind of surprise. A cruel one. "Why?" I asked. Not accusing, not screaming, just asking. Daniel opened his mouth, but Lila spoke instead. He didn't want to hide it anymore. Her words sliced through me. Daniel looked horrified. "Lila, stop." But she wasn't listening. Or maybe she was tired of the pretense too. She continued, her voice unwavering. "He cares about you, but he cares about me too, and he didn't know how to tell you without hurting you." Silence. A heavy, suffocating silence. My heart pounded against my ribs, but I kept my face still. I needed clarity, not chaos. I whispered, "So you thought hurting me in public would be easier?" Daniel reached for my hand, instinctively, desperately. I pulled it away before he could touch me. He froze. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice cracking. "I didn't want it to happen this way." "Then why did you bring her here?" His answer came in a whisper. "To be honest with you." "But honesty," I said, my voice trembling only slightly, "requires truth, not spectacle." His eyes dropped to the table.
Lila looked between us, realization slowly dawning. Maybe she hadn't expected the truth to feel so ugly when spoken aloud. I stood up. Chairs scraped, heads turned. The violinist paused mid-bow. Daniel looked up at me with panic. "Where are you going?" he asked, voice barely audible. I stared at him for a long, long moment, and then said the words that made something in his expression collapse. "To find the truth, and I don't think it's sitting at this table." I took one step back, then another. Neither of them followed me, and for the first time all evening, I could breathe.
The hallway outside the restaurant felt strangely quiet, unnaturally so. The soft carpet swallowed my footsteps, and the hum of conversation behind the mahogany doors dulled into a distant blur. I leaned against the wall, letting the cool surface press into my spine as I breathed in, slow and shaky. My hands were trembling. Not from anger, not entirely, mostly from that kind of hollowed-out shock that leaves your entire body confused about what emotion to choose. I stared at my own reflection in the polished wall panel opposite me, slightly distorted, stretched, unfamiliar. Who was I right now? Daniel's wife? Or Daniel's fool? A soft click sounded as the door swung open behind me. I didn't turn. I didn't have the energy. But I knew the footsteps instantly. Daniel. Always hesitant when he knew he was on the brink of screwing up beyond repair. "Please don't walk away," he said, voice tight and low. "No more scenes. No more public humiliation." I let out a dry laugh. Not loud, just enough to release the bitterness sitting on my tongue. "Funny," I said, "because all of this humiliation came from you." Silence. He stepped beside me but didn't touch me. Good. He knew better now. "He made a mistake," he said slowly. "Which one?" I asked. "Inviting your ex? Lying about it? Letting her speak for you? Or pretending this is honesty?" His jaw clenched. He looked older suddenly, like the weight of his choices had finally settled on his shoulders. "He should have told you privately," he said. I turned to him, meeting his eyes fully for the first time since I walked out. "No," I said softly. "No, you shouldn't have told me privately. You shouldn't have put yourself in a situation where you needed to tell me anything like this at all." He swallowed hard. A moment passed, heavy, thick with truth he didn't want to say. "You're right," he whispered. That surprised me. Daniel never said that. Not easily. Not without being pushed into a corner. I watched him breathe, trying to gather courage or excuses, or both. He began, "Leela is someone I connect with. Someone who..." "Don't," I cut in. "Don't describe your emotional affair to me like it's poetry." His face twisted. "It wasn't. It was," I said flatly, "and maybe more." More silence. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. "We didn't..." he started. I lifted my hand. "Don't finish that. You'll lie. And I'm too tired for lies." He closed his mouth. We just stood there, two people who used to fit together, now separated by truths we couldn't unhear. Finally, I asked the question that had been screaming inside my skull since I saw her sitting at that table. "Why her?" He flinched, a real physical reaction. "Because she listens," he said, voice cracking. "Because she sees me." I stared at him, cold, disbelieving, heartbroken. "And I don't?" I asked quietly. His eyes filled with guilt. "You're always so strong, so in control. Sometimes I feel like you don't need me." That was the moment my heart didn't just crack, it fractured clean down the center. I whispered, "You wanted someone weaker."
he said, stepping closer. No, not weaker. Just softer. I'm not saying that's your fault. I'm saying that's mine. I blinked, stunned. He continued, words tumbling out now, desperate and raw. You built a life, a career. You made yourself into something incredible. And I didn't. I felt small next to you. I couldn't handle that. I know it's stupid. I know it's selfish. But I wanted someone who made me feel bigger, even if it was wrong. My breath caught. All this time, I had blamed myself, wondered what I wasn't giving, what I wasn't enough of. And the truth? I was too much. For him. I closed my eyes. When I opened them again, my voice was steady, soft, sure. Daniel, you didn't want honesty. You wanted validation, and you found it in someone who didn't challenge you. He didn't deny it. And I'm done apologizing for being strong, for being successful, for being more than you could handle. Tears gathered in his eyes. Please, he said, don't walk away. I'm not walking away, I said, stepping back. I'm stepping forward, and you're not coming with me. He reached out, not to grab, but to anchor himself, but I turned before his hand could meet air. Walking down that hallway felt like walking out of years of confusion, insecurity, and self-blame. And as the door closed behind me, the truth settled in fully. Sometimes the worst betrayal isn't cheating. It's choosing someone because they make your flaws feel smaller.